just looking over, the stuttering was because I saw that you didn't have our picture there for a second. They're going to be underneath the tunnel there. They're going to come out the other side, hopefully in just a second. But again, they are definitely trying to bring this thing to an end. They said stolen vehicle for a little bit, but then they also said that this is a possible elderly abuse suspect driving that vehicle. Then that's the reason why they're trying to pull him over. I don't know if there's an elderly person in that vehicle, but I can definitely tell you from what we were seeing before we went live that this driver of this pickup truck definitely playing with the officers, meaning slowing down on purpose, letting them get close, then kind of speeding up, just doing weird things. And again, this is not a good thing to watch, because when these suspects do these type of maneuvers, it kind of gives you an idea what kind of mentality they have, and that could lead to a very unfortunate ending. Right now you get an idea of all the officers, and again, a lot of stop and a lot of go. That's what we were talking about. There he did it once again. Now LAPD, they've got a number of officers behind it. There might be some California Highway Patrol also, and Santa Monica, because this is technically in the Santa Monica area. But right now, back on the Pacific Coast Highway, if you ever drive this, you know pretty much it's going to dump you back onto the 10. There is an opportunity to take some side streets. He was driving through Santa Monica before we got here. We'll see where he goes in just a moment or two.
Stu, before you cut out, it looked like the two cars got very close to each other. Did they collide, or did they almost collide?
You know, the officers get really close, and they've been trying to do these pit maneuvers, and that driver of the truck has been driving slow, and then when they get really close, then he'll speed up. He's basically been playing with the officers. I don't think the LAPD rear-ended, or he actually made contact with that suspect in that way. Now that we're on this side of it, we might be able to get a better look up, of course, and figure you want to do something in Skybox as soon as you want to do it. He had the window down. Oh, he still does have the window down. I thought he brought the window up. There he goes. He's been just kind of lazily putting his hand out. He's been doing gestures, not the gesture that you're thinking of. You know, basically waving the cops off, waving the cops in. And again, crazy maneuver right there. You just saw it. Moved all the way over, trying to get over to the, now getting off the freeway. It's again, I really believe that this person is playing with those officers, and that is not a good thing at all, because, you know, when these things come to an end, law enforcement, they have guns, and it just, you know, and when the suspect has this kind of playful, almost, you know, encouraging the officers to be more aggressive, it's just not a good thing. Now, LAPD, believe me, they are professionals, consummate professionals. Now you can see him kind of taking off again, speed's getting a little bit higher, back onto the 10 freeway. This is basically the area that this vehicle, this chase, has been in since we left Van Nuys. He's gotten off the freeway a couple of times, but always made his way back over to the 10.
Plus, we don't know, like you said, there could be someone else in addition to the suspect in the vehicle, right? And that's scary, because that person's life is in danger as well if this person continues to drive aggressively and recklessly.
Definitely. And, you know, and if there is somebody in there and that person has a voice, meaning like, you know, basically like, hey, why are you doing this? Can we bring this to an end? Maybe they can reach over, grab this, push the start-stop button, or do something to bring this to an end. The fact that you know, again, I'm waiting for the assignment desk to confirm. Maybe they can tell you. But I definitely heard
the driver
words,
eventually picks up speed
elderly abuse suspect is what this person is wanted for, and that is just disturbing in itself. And again, we don't know the circumstances, but there is always that possibility now that there might be an elderly person in that vehicle with them. It gets really twisted and really ugly. Get back off the freeway here. It looks like we're going to be, I'm not really sure. I was going to say Pico, but it's the Pico District area, making that turn right there, getting onto 34th Street. And again, LAPD, they're doing what they can, lights and sirens. They did back off, go into tracking, but they re-engaged it. And I think that was when the additional information came out about what that suspect is wanted for. And so you can see the helicopter in the air, you've got units on the ground, and they're definitely lights and sirens, so folks on the road know what's going on. But you saw they're being aggressive. They want to bring this thing to an end. They've tried to pit this vehicle couple of times. Hopefully they'll be able to do this and nobody will be hurt.
What's concerning is the attitude and the mentality of the driver. We don't know what this driver is thinking, but certainly the attitude of being totally disregarding of the officers and the public, and the taunting measures that this driver is taking, you know, with the arm gestures and starting and stopping and basically toying with these police officers.
Yeah, and taunting is really, I think that's one of the best words. It is basically that driver is encouraging those officers and then, you know, and luring them in and then making moves that contradict it. I wonder if they're going to continue to try to do that pit maneuver. Clearly, this vehicle, you know, has some extra stability. Maybe there's something in the bed that we don't see. You can see the rear bumper. You know, that's from the multiple pit maneuvers or attempts. It has moved the rear end, but not enough to get it to spin around, and maybe that might be because it's been going too slow. That is actually part of it, one of the things as well. So right now, though, you can see it. I don't have to tell you, Pico District, we're on the surface streets out here. Speed's slowing down, but this aggressive, weird driving of like quick U-turns, accelerating and then stopping. LAPD, they have not backed off, so there's lights and sirens, so the folks down there do know, and I'm just getting wider and wider of a shot because I'm trying to get a number of officers that are behind it. There is a significant amount of LAPD behind this person, and again, that might be because of that, what we believe this person to be wanted for elder abuse.
Yeah, I see about 7 cop cars behind him. Do you know, is he making, what kind of gestures is he making out of the window? Do we know? Or is it just, he's just hanging his arm out, basically?
Not the profane one that we're used to seeing from some of these suspects. He's just kind of, you know, lazily got his hand out the window. It looks like he's pointing right now.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, I'm going to make a turn, or maybe he was pointing at somebody. But it just seems to be like almost relaxed, almost, you know, lackadaisical. Like, yeah, you're chasing me. You can go do what you want, but I'm going to just keep on driving. That's what it feels like, you know, watching those gestures and the driving of that suspect. LAPD, though, they're taking this very, very differently. I definitely have the scanner up right now, and I can hear the chatter. They want to bring this thing to an end. They are doing what they can to, you know, maybe we're going to see some spike strips, but they have to get ahead of the vehicle, and they have to be able to deploy them safely. And with this driver, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's very just, you know,
Taunting.
yeah, I'm going for a ride. I'm daring you to try to bring me to an end, bring me to a stop.
Disregarding, disregarding the rules, authority, other drivers as well. Look at that. And taunting the officers following him.
That's what's scary when someone behaves in a manner where it's like they have nothing to lose, right? Then you think they're capable of anything and everything, and it makes it so dangerous for so many people who are going to get caught up in all of this, who have nothing to do with this and don't even know this is happening. The people that are on the road, they don't even know what's going on, really.
You wonder if he's impaired by his behavior.
Yeah,
if he's on something.
Definitely, I would say that maybe
Yeah. We don't know at this point, but certainly the behavior is very weird. Okay. Maybe he's waving at you, Stu.
Very weird.
That looked like a wave to
I
you.
hope not. Yeah, definitely the fifth bump. Definitely the fifth bump. Yeah, maybe he's got our app up and he's hearing us talk right now. Yeah,
we're listening to music.
He's definitely taunting.
Blaring music.
I'm just hoping that there is nobody else in that vehicle. That is probably the concern for everybody involved, and of course LAPD as well. But
he looks like a younger driver too.
Younger guy, yeah, definitely a younger guy. And now I'm just hearing straight code 37. That's cop shop talk for stolen vehicle. So maybe that's just a straight stolen vehicle. Whatever the deal is right now, they definitely want this thing to stop. I kind of want it to stop too, especially when you're on these surface streets. We're not doing 70 miles an hour down these little side streets. And I hear our TOC, but hang on one second. Just give me a few moments.
Yeah, as you stay on that shot, Stu, we should tell people that this is in the area of Ocean Park Boulevard and 11th Street, Sunset Park area, West Side, Santa Monica. As you know, a lot of these streets can go one way, so clearly that's a concern for people out there in the neighborhood, but clearly, thankfully, this driver is going slow and hasn't impacted any other driver in terms of any collisions that we've seen so far. But if you're in the area, that is a big concern, that somebody driving in this manner with total disregard to authority and the rules and taunting officers, anything could happen. So be careful in those intersections. But thankfully, the erratic behavior of this driver is to a minimum at this point. We're not seeing him go in different lanes against traffic or anything like that. But anything can happen because you don't know.
It's going very slow right now, and it seems to be like, so he's been, as you said, taunting these officers. It seems to be only on the back streets or the side streets, like basically off the freeway, that he's doing this. Once he's on the freeway, he guns it and doesn't really do the start-stop maneuver, thankfully, that he does on these side streets. A lot of bike lanes, too, nearby.
Well, welcome to Santa Monica.
Yeah, yeah.
They're going to make those streets as tight as possible for vehicles. But anyway, that's something for Alec to talk about, not me. But you can see him now. He's got his hat off, and he's basically just kind of going for a slow drive. LAPD, they've got different plans. I do know that they are doing what they can. Maybe they're going to try to get some their ducks in a row, as it would be, and try something else. Ran a solid red right there, and LAPD slowed a little bit, made sure it was clear before they went. And as far as going slow, that's the thing. For a little bit he was going slow. Now we're going 70 down the center divider and cutting over. This is
the driver
beyond erratic. This is basically still, I believe, taunting those officers. Not a good thing at all. And everything is lackadaisical until it's not, and that's really what the biggest concern is. Somebody could just be driving, doing their whatever, and that truck clearly heavy. They can't do those pits, and we just don't want to see it collide with a vehicle, and heaven forbid a pedestrian.
So it's because of how heavy the truck is that they won't do the pit, right? Because I'm just thinking, when he is driving super slow like this and there's not that many people around, what's stopping them from doing that? Or is it because he's been driving so erratically they want to keep their distance?
45 miles an hour on the 10 freeway.
Well, the higher speeds are the reasons why they can't do it. There's like a sweet spot with, not every, but most of the agencies have their own protocol. Like, we can do it at this speed, we can't do it. And I actually think, because we saw it on the freeway a couple of times, I think he was going too slow, and that's the reason why. There we go. We're going over the center divider. He's definitely making use of the truck, but those Explorers, they can handle a curve. There's no doubt about that. Went over the curb, coming back the other way right now, and also slowing down, basically taunting the officers. Are they going to try to do that pit maneuver again?
Right. That's why I wonder what's to stop them from doing it.
This would be an okay spot.
Yeah.
Well, there might be something down, or maybe the fact that it failed a couple of times already. So they're just like, it might not be the best way to do it, but the spike strips, that could be a possibility. It's just they got to get ahead of it, and now in making that U-turn, that's gonna put a fly in their ointment. But you know what? They've got more than one other officer, so maybe another officer will get up ahead, and they'll be able to throw out those spike strips right at the ultimate moment.
Yeah, you wonder. Sometimes we watch these pursuits, and law enforcement decides to back off and totally just leave the chase alone. And then in this case, they are not. Clearly, they are still following the suspect. So there's a lot of decisions that are made around, I guess, the threat level and the danger to the community, or whether or not to back off. And hopefully something like this won't happen. But yeah, taunting again
or stopping. We don't.
Everything is all a joke to that suspect.
No, I bet you he takes off because maybe he ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Maybe he ran out of gas.
It could be. usually there's a little bit more of like bucking, of the vehicle, but there you go. He's literally taunting these officers.
Just 30 to 35 minutes
definitely.
ago.
There's no doubt about it.
And that's why the officers aren't really fully getting out of their cars just yet. They have
the
doors open, but they're not hopping out just yet.
Right, and some people, they will say, well, why don't they get a cop car and block them in?
Right.
Well, if they block them in and then the suspect does gun it and there is an injury involved, then they, the lawyers, they love to look at things in a different light, and they'll say, well, why did you put yourself in harm's way?
Well, also, you don't know if this suspect is armed. He could very well, if they approach him from the front end, he could very well harm them. So they have to just
there he goes.
Be very careful. And I guess definitely not out of gas.
Definitely not out of gas yet.
That's frustrating to watch. Stu, from this angle, I don't know if you can zoom in because you're now on the passenger side of the truck. I wonder if there's anybody sitting there.
There doesn't seem to be. It's got some really nice tint on there, that is for sure. See what we can make happen here, but it almost looks like they've got like something in the center, like a cup, like they're using the cup holder, but the window just seems to be too dark. And again, now stopping by a trash truck for, what reason? I just don't know. But LAPD, they're gonna keep with it. I can almost guarantee you that. They're not gonna just let this thing go. And just so you guys know, when this thing started, they did go into tracking mode for a little bit. They were in tracking mode for a little bit and then re-engaged the pursuit, and they have not gone back to tracking mode. So something must have changed. Some information must have been passed down to supervisors, and so that's the reason why they are continuing on with the pursuit portion of this.
Well, there's definitely something off and going on clearly with this individual because of the way he is behaving behind the wheel. And again, that concern is putting innocent bystanders in harm's way. Obviously, those who are there driving alongside this person see the police cars behind and become aware that maybe there's something going on, but there are a lot of people who are just driving in are completely unaware, and they could get caught up in something and get hurt very easily. So this is the stuff that makes me really nervous whenever we cover these types of pursuits.
Definitely, and I just know, I just saw it in the corner of my eye. He just drove by one of our live trucks down there. So we do have people on the ground as well, close by, so if this thing does come to an end, hopefully we'll be able to have a camera on the ground and maybe some more information. The officers might be able to...
There you go, the pit maneuver.
Another pit,
trying it, yep.
Oh, yeah.
The truck is just so heavy.
It's right,
Something about it.
It is very heavy.
It could be the tires. It could. I guess we're going to go for another one.
It's so dangerous though at the same time because these streets are narrow. There's homes around.
Yeah.
There's only so much force you can really pit this guy with because of the fact that there's so much, so many variables around, right? So they got to pick and choose their timing here and the amount of force they use when they try to get this guy. But this is pretty frustrating for the officers, no doubt.
There we go, Did he? I don't know if he did.
What, spike strip?
I think he avoided it.
Yeah, he went on the
You
other
think he avoided
side.
it?
Yeah,
I think so.
I didn't see him cross it.
What happened next?
But yeah, how frustrating is this?
He went around it.
Yep.
Yep.
Now going into
We got the referee in my ear, Lisa. She said that definitely went around it.
Yeah, around it.
No contact. No contact. Yeah. So, but this is frustrating. I have to say it is frustrating. I can imagine what the officers are feeling right now. The fact that they are staying consummate professionals is a testament for LAPD. And like you said, it seems like for as far as doing the pit maneuver, they have to make sure that there are no other people around, no other cars going in any other directions. It has to be a certain way for them to do it. And as far far as it not being able to spin it around, I would venture to say
driver
it is those beefy tires that are just a lot of traction. There's a lot of traction right there because we've seen officers get steak trucks in the past, which is basically a pickup truck with a flatbed on it, and it spun around no problem whatsoever. And talking about spinning around, there you go, another U-turn out here. We're still in the Santa Monica area, but LAPD, they have not handed it over. I'm sure Santa Monica is nearby and offering assistance if they need it. But LAPD, they got their helicopter, they got their cars, and they've got other units clearly in the area. So maybe we'll see another spike strip, maybe, hopefully, and hopefully it'll work. I mean, gosh only knows. And the LAPD above it, they're doing a fantastic job making the calls down there, trying to keep their officers and other officers informed on locations of where this vehicle is going.
I mean, between the starting and the stopping and the making these U-turns and going around the block, he clearly is either trying to figure out what to do or doesn't really have much of a plan and doesn't really have a familiarity with the area.
The helicopter
I'm going to go with option two.
Second
option two. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, option two. This guy, I have a feeling, he doesn't care. And I'm not sure whether Roxy or Sandra that said it just moments ago. It's like the most dangerous is when you've got nothing to lose, you know?
Dead stop again.
The person feels like he has nothing to lose. Yeah, stop and go and just taunt.
Was he wave? Did he just stick his arm out and wave? Like almost
Like, come on, get me.
But the trees blocking the path of the helicopter field.
Definitely.
Once
You
again,
think that
the
this will
suspect
come to an end because it's a Skyfox deal there underneath the tree. There you go. And he's making those moves again. But they get, still, you know, 24 miles an hour for the most part, really slow, joining some major traffic, running that red stop sign right there, and just going through LAPD. The lights and sirens might be helping.
But the driver
you know, it's like when you're driving, I know, you hear lights and sirens, you instantly kind of look around like, where's that coming from?
He's picking up speed there.
Just getting your foot off the
goes
gas.
on for about 40 minutes.
Saw that turn and then,
Yeah, but the big concern here are the narrow streets and how residential it is with all those other cars parked alongside of those streets too. There's no real opportunity for police to get ahead of this or to put a pit maneuver in place, and then you worry about just all the residents and the homes around that area. But see how narrow those streets are?
Very narrow.
No way.
Bike lanes and another dead stop. Wow, that was sudden too.
Yeah, he's asking for it.
He really is.
Rear-ended.
He rolled his windows down.
Seems like the car has some damage already, right? Or is that just...
That could be from the pit maneuver?
I don't know. I see something in the back.
For more than an hour, but the news helicopter's camera was off. But
passenger seat, I would venture to say no. I don't know if
they did try to
listening right now,
stop that suspect.
But I mean, it's very tinted in the back seat. You can't really see much.
That's the first time I saw the door open. That's a first.
There's again.
That's a first.
But he keeps talking to the officers.
Definitely voicing his concern to the officers. This is one of those times I wish we had a microphone. You know, I wish we really could hear what they're saying down there.
Yeah.
You got Less Than Lethal coming around the corner right there, and I saw them all running, so I was like going to say, I know he's on the go again. And there he goes, continuing to drive. So definitely, that was the first time we really saw that suspect, and you could tell just by his gestures and the fact that he was shouting at the officers. He's definitely taunting them. And you know how this is going to come to an end, that the best way is just that he's going to go into cuffs and they're going to take him into custody. Hopefully there's going to be no injuries and or, you know, bent metal other than the suspect's rear bumper from all those attempted pits.
Yeah, it is just so frustrating to watch this, and obviously for the police officers and law enforcement following this suspect, just how erratic, how taunting, not erratic I should say, but just the behavior of this driver. So clearly this has been going on for, what, half hour now, Stu? Or a little less, but all in the general area.
Oh yeah, this was shot earlier. This was a previous pit maneuver they tried. They did this multiple times, but it seems like the truck is too heavy.
Interesting.
At that moment.
Yeah.
It's a delicate dance
like
that you have to do when you're when you're pitting somebody. That the speed has to be right, the technique has to be right. I mean, you have to have not that many cars on the road at one time. So it's very strategic.
It is, and they you know, everything's got to be right because, and it also, I'm just calling it like it is. Everything has to be right because if something goes wrong, the officer might be held liable, or the department might be held liable. So those officers, they got to make sure that everything is in the right place for them to do it properly, so that there is no repercussions if something goes wrong. And that's just being part of law enforcement. I'm getting some text from some other folks, and they're confirming the same thing that we heard. But now I'm just hearing code 37. I mean, I'm just hearing stolen. So, but I definitely got a text from somebody saying that they also heard elderly abuse suspect. So, you know, whatever it is, it's pretty twisted. Hopefully, they're going to get this guy into custody. Nobody's going to get hurt. But it's Santa Monica seems to be, well, now we're in Venice, thank goodness. But it is definitely a lot of tight streets out here. I haven't seen a lot of pedestrians other than ones holding cell phones trying to get that video. But hopefully nobody gets injured, and the LAPD is going to bring this thing to an end peacefully. Again, though, it's like we kind of know that pit maneuver might not be the best way to do it, and the spike strips, well, they're going to continue to try, but this guy's definitely on the lookout for what's going on around him. He's definitely aware that they're trying to bring that truck to a stop. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of when, right? I mean, it has happened. It has, certainly, where sometimes these guys somehow get away. It's bizarre, but that's definitely something we've covered.
Sometimes
but most
the
of the time,
wants to get away.
you know.
Passing the
Has he
bikers
had
on the
his
right.
hazards on this whole time, or did he just put those on?
The driver eventually
That looks new.
The hazards?
keeps
Yeah,
going
he has
slow.
seen the hazards on.
Yeah, he has his hazards on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's new.
Passing all those buildings,
Yeah,
but he
maybe
keeps
he
going,
accidentally
crossing,
bumped them, or maybe he just
driving
realized that, hey, I'm a
across,
hazard.
across.
I'm not really sure,
Right.
but
Now,
they
so
definitely,
many
it's definitely
times the
something new.
drivers-
There's no doubt about that.
Speeding up 10 miles an hour.
You wonder if something happened to his tires? Maybe not. Or,
But he's
I mean,
getting,
Traffic there, so what is he?
Okay.
He's
What's he gonna do now?
Squeeze
Yeah.
through.
To manage,
Yeah.
but he squeezed through.
kind of waiting.
Stop.
See, this is always a little unsettling.
It's always a Prius.
But non-stop.
Yeah.
Stu.
But the
There you
driver
go.
eventually wants to turn right.
Making a turn
But
around
he
really slow.
Really slow.
Really
to wait at the
slow.
right turn. But
Really slow.
Again, taunting, right?
But
This is
wait
all a
and
joke
see.
to him,
Yeah.
all a joyride here. I wonder what he was saying to officers earlier, because he did open that door and was saying something.
What's this guy
But,
doing?
oh gosh,
So
really?
really,
Well, you know,
Yeah.
people will be people, I guess.
He eventually
People be peopling.
Nothing that you don't see when traffic is normal, I suppose. Okay, so he's still going very slow.
But the driver tries to
Very
make a
slow.
U-turn.
Very slow.
The tactic here now is they're keeping behind him. They're not going in front of him because, again, he could have a weapon. We don't know how, or if he's going to accelerate like he has many times over during this
Went on for
strange
about
pursuit.
45 minutes. They weren't tracking those for a while.
Someday we'll have one of those pursuits where we'll say, this is your
door's
standard
open.
pursuit, but this is not today.
Okay.
Look at this.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, wow.
Oh, come on. Really? In the world?
Well, I wonder if the police were using those non-lethals because he didn't have his hands up.
No, and he was approaching the officer
Yeah.
pretty quickly,
That's right.
saying something.
He was messing around.
Yeah.
He was. I didn't see the less than lethal come out. Yeah, he was just messing around. If we were wondering, now we have confirmation. Definitely taunting officers. There's no doubt about it. And I'm laughing because of the fact that we got the confirmation, not because he's taunting the officers.
Here we go
Don't
again.
get that wrong. But there you go. Doors are open once
But he
again.
opened the door.
Hands up, that's right.
But get down.
But don't approach.
oh my gosh, he's
Stay
The
put.
driver is
Wow.
about to punch up, but he threw a punch.
Yeah,
But
you know what? These
The
officers
officer
have had
said
enough.
They've had enough.
They've had
The
enough.
pursuit comes to an end. Now, assault
They're
on a
like,
police
enough with
officer.
this.
What
Taken
did you
down
think
to
was
police.
going to happen?
Taken
Right.
down by police.
Yeah, and he threw that first punch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So assaulting an officer.
They showed great restraint, let me tell you.
Well, this is great. Hey, this is about the best ending that we could have hoped for, right?
And talk about the timing, Stu. Impeccable as the GDLA Plus comes to an end here.
Had a weapon.
We planned it that way.
Covering that item
Keep watching, though.
Wow.
That was
These are
that was the first, you guys.
So
we
yeah.
cover so many,
Very
and
no.
sometimes we're like, oh, that was the first we've ever seen, but
Never know what's going to happen.
that was the first.
Now they're checking the
But
artist
they have to
in
check
there,
the
or who else is
to
in
make
there.
sure
Hopefully
nothing
nobody.
Nobody else was inside that vehicle.
I mean, what is this
Nobody
guy
was hurt.
thinking?
I don't think he was.
He was.
Is he still fighting?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
he sort of
goodness.
tried
He's
to
melting
act
off,
like
fighting.
he's melting off.
Yeah, he's going to say
agitated.
his opinion, and he's definitely giving it to the officers.
Acting like
So.
Well,
they're the ones who have the handcuffs.
It could be nobody's hurt.
Yeah, seriously, the best possible outcome. Just, wow, that was different.
No two pursuits are the same.
No, and as you know,
When you think you've seen it all, you really haven't.
It comes to an end.
Right? This is just wild.
Just the way he approached the officers, like completely fearless, you know, like didn't care. They could have very well harmed him, but he walked right up to them and made contact.
The first punch.
Unbelievable.
And you know they were warning him, you know, hands up, don't approach any further, stay put.
He's look,
Yeah, not listening, mouthing off, driving crazy.
Hopefully, check out
good
this
thing
video
he's
checking
pops up.
him.
That's it.
You know?
He's off the road.
Be
Well,
sure to
it looks
join
like
us next week for more police chase videos. Have the driver with a hidden police chase videos and a stolen BMW 5 Series.